Welcome to Mortgage on My Mind, where we take the mystery out of mortgages and make dreams of home ownership a reality. I'm Natalie Salins, a top 1% mortgage broker with 20 years of experience, based right here in sunny Los Angeles. If you've ever wondered about pre-approvals, appraisals, or what loan product is right for you, don't worry, I've got Mortgage on My Mind, so you don't have to. Each week, I'll bring you expert advice, real-life stories, and insider tips to help you navigate California's competitive real estate market with confidence. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or just curious about how it all works, this podcast is for you. So let's talk mortgages, demystify the process, and make your real estate goals a reality. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome to Mortgage on My Mind. Today our guest is Shelby Seeley. She is a licensed real estate agent with the team lead Rick Fuller Inc. Realtors, serving buyers and sellers in Northern California, including Antioch, Brentwood, Oakley, and Concord. With more than 100 million in career sales volume and hundreds of closed transactions, she ranks among top 1% of agents in her brokerage. So nice work, Shelby. Nice to have you on the podcast. Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to have conversation, educate people.
Yeah, absolutely. We were chatting before about first-time home buyers and how you feel like you have a niche in it and really serve them, and it's a large part of your clientele. Why do you think for you personally that's something you've honed in on?
Yeah, because I remember being a first-time home buyer many years ago, and I felt no one explained the process to me. And so I felt very confused in the midst of making the largest purchase that I would ever make, which would then set up like literally generational wealth, not just for me, but for my kids and for generations. And
Sure.
I just felt like they were like, here, sign this, here, do this, here. And I'm like, I don't even know you, and you're asking me to basically sign my life away. And it became a real passion of mine to be able to take first-time buyers through the different steps and what to expect. Because I think they can go on Google or ChatGPT and do all their education, and then family, friends have their own thoughts and opinions and stories, right? So then they get these mixed messages on should I buy, should I not buy? It's scary. Oh my goodness, based on my parents' experience. And so I really just kind of wanted to take them under my wing and just walk them step by step through the process, just helping them along the way. And there's nothing more rewarding than giving keys to first-time buyers who thought there's no way I'll never be able to buy a house. And here they are today, homeowners, which now changes their life and their kids' lives.
Exactly.
And the pain in my process, and I wanted to help others.
And when you bought, were you already an agent or not yet?
I was not an agent, no.
Got it.
Yeah. I had always had a fascination with real estate. I loved looking at the model homes and open houses. And I felt like real estate always had called to me. And my husband and I did some fix and flips, but was not an agent at that time. And then walking through that process definitely helped push me into what I've been doing now for over a decade.
Over a decade. That's amazing. So it was the process that made you realize this is something I want to do.
Yes. I said, there has to be a better way. I was like, this can't be the answer.
And so tell me what you think is the better way. I know for myself, and I say it all the time to clients, nobody taught us how to do this. And so it's a lot of instruction and a lot of personal contact and communication. And I have a book that I created, a little like first-time homebuyer booklet, very simplified, just basic stats of what to expect and look forward to.
Yeah.
But what would you say is something that makes you stand out from how the process was when you did it to how you realized it to make it better?
I think a lot of times now consumers will go on platforms like Zillow, Realtor.com, they'll find a home, then they'll just be like, I don't know, let me just contact the agent that's on Zillow. And then all of a sudden this person, who knows how long they've had their license for, is showing them homes. And so what I really try to do is sit down with people. And similar to yours, I have a pamphlet that we have, a booklet, and I just give them steps. Step one, find an agent you can trust. Step two, get pre-approved.
Totally.
And then I literally just walk them through the whole process. And that way they know what to expect. And so many times I've had clients come back to me and say, oh, I remember we talked about this on our first appointment. And so I think education is absolutely powerful. And so the more I can educate them, the more they feel empowered to make the biggest investment that they'll probably ever make.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's all about education.
It is. And communication, being there for them, because
Absolutely.
there's lots
Yes.
of questions that come into play because there's so much information
Yeah.
being thrown at you all the time.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And through so many different avenues now, right? We have social media and all the quote unquote information there, and all the experts on social media that are not necessarily experts. They're just giving their opinions and thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Mhm.
What would you say are some of the biggest mistakes that you see new buyers, first-time home buyers, do when they start looking? Would you say it's staying
Yeah.
on Zillow and not really asking the real questions, or?
I think, and I'm pretty convinced of this, been doing it as long as I have, and maybe you would agree, Natalie, is the fact that they just don't take the first step. And I think just being on Zillow is great. That helps you dream, right? That helps you narrow
Totally.
down. Oh my goodness, I would love this house, and I could see our Christmas tree here and Thanksgiving's here. But they never actually pick up the phone and call. And especially I feel, get overwhelmed when it comes to the pre-approval process, right? They like, I don't even know where to begin. So then they don't begin. And I think that's their biggest mistake. And a lot of times I'll sit down with these home buyers and I will say, I just want to say congratulations for taking the first step. A lot of people have dreams of owning a house, but they never take the first step. This was the very first step. And then, of course, having a lender involved is super key, because then I say, hey, maybe you won't get pre-approved today, but it's okay. We're here for the long journey. Maybe it'll be
Right.
6 months or a year from now, but we want to be the ones to help you along this journey. And I feel like that really gives them the confidence to move forward.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes people are, I spoke to somebody literally like an hour ago who wants to fill out for the Dream program, and we can
Yeah.
explain what the Dream program is in a second. It's a California-based program for first-time home buyers. But the email was like, I didn't really want to get started and I wasn't ready and I wasn't going to get started, but then I just filled out the app and I don't really know if I should. And I said, why don't we hop back on a phone call? I know that you're struggling with how to move forward, but it can't hurt to do the app and see what the numbers look like. Let's just see.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not going to be able to afford anything. And I said, let's just see. Let's see what the numbers are. Maybe you won't, but then at least we know. And then we can talk about what are the other options available. Maybe we put a co-buyer on, or maybe we understand what the numbers are with just you. And if you have some sort of partner in the future or something, you can understand where that limit is for you. But I said, you have to keep in mind with the Dream program, which I'll explain, but with the Dream program, you can afford 20% more than what you think you can.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that in mind as well. You might think you can only afford 400, but with the Dream program, you can actually afford 500.
Right. Which gives you so much more options.
So many more options. In Los Angeles, it literally goes from a tiny condo that you can find at 400 to like a great condo anywhere. You can find a condo in West Hollywood for 500.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So the Dream program, just so the listeners understand what we're talking about, is a program through Cal HAFA. It is a statewide program that gives 20% down as what's called shared appreciation. So they give you 20% of the purchase price. It's a silent second. It sits on your property silently. Let's say you find something at 500,000, they give you 100,000 towards your down payment. That 100,000 doesn't build, it stays at 100,000, it's set, and you don't pay on it. There's no interest rate against it. And when you go to sell, any net that you earn from the sale, from the home, you owe the state 20%. You owe them the 100,000, of course, the original investment that they gave you. But again, you don't pay interest on it. So you owe them the 100 that they gave you plus 20% of whatever the net is for you. And so it's a pretty amazing program. A lot of people were taking terrible advantage of it in 23.
Yeah.
And then in 24, they came out with way more strict guidelines. They're only giving up to 150. So that's the max. So if you really need 20%, that's a 750 purchase. They'll still give you 150 if you go up to $1 million, let's say, but that's the max you can get. The max you can get. And most importantly, the hardest thing to fit, because the income limit itself is fine. It's at 150,000. The hardest thing to be is a first time, not home buyer, but a first time generational home buyer. And that's where it rules out a lot of people.
Yes.
Basically, the state wants to know that you don't stand in line to inherit a property as well, that you will be the first ones to start, like you said, generational wealth.
Yeah.
And build that for a future family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what if your parents owned like 7 years ago and they no longer own?
If they no longer own, we're okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If they no longer own, we are okay.
Yeah.
If they still own, then you have to consider it. And unfortunately, it's what if there are 7 children? What if there are stepchildren? Like you may stand to inherit a home, but with 8 other people. But that's the guideline. And honestly, it still works because in 23, when Dream came out, there were no guidelines really. It was like incredible. It was mass mayhem. And the program lasted for 11 days.
Yeah, I know.
11 days. I got 2 people locked in that time, but on the 11th day, I knew it was the last day I could lock. In the morning, I locked, and my rate team told me that the program had shut down already.
Oh my goodness.
I was out of funds, and I was like,
yeah,
we're going to have to cancel escrow.
Yeah.
Like we'd gotten in.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it was heartbreaking. I was like, not a dream program, a nightmare program. I was like, oh my God.
Goodness.
I know.
Did they end up like qualifying later and buying?
I was able to switch them into Movement has a program called Movement Boost.
Yeah.
Where we give them 3.5% of the down payment, and then we finance through FHA 96.5. So it's 100% financing.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the drawbacks too, is if people not just taking the step, is they don't know what programs are out there. There are so many down payment assistant programs. I literally gave keys to a woman that she bought a house for $1,000 because she used the down payment assistant program for her down payment and for her closing cost. And we got like a seller credit. So she ended up getting like her earnest money deposit back. She literally wrote a check for $1,000 for a house.
Oh,
Where
I see.
can you do that?
She didn't get the house for $1,000. She spent $1,000 up front.
Correct.
Got it. Yeah. That holds true a lot of the time for VA. VA is like my favorite loan.
Very true.
But yeah, that's incredible. That can happen sometimes with FHA. FHA allows you to have, it's wild, $0 in the bank when we start and $0 in the bank when we end.
Wow.
It's wildly risky, but in their eyes, the buyers don't have savings because they can't.
Sure.
But by the time the mortgage payment comes, because we track the earnings. FHA is very tough actually on income.
Yeah.
And that they'll bring in the money at that whenever it's due.
Yeah. There's just so many options out there to be explored, and you don't know until you try.
Until you ask.
Reach out to you and find out.
I know, totally. Exactly. So yeah, it's the Dream program, first time home buyer programs. They're restrictive, and I wouldn't suggest them for everybody, but certainly for people when it comes to down payment, that's where they help.
Yes.
A lot of first time home buyers who are like, I'm going to put 30% down and I have an 800 credit score and I make 200,000 a year. Sure. What first time home buyer programs are available for me? I'm like, none. Like the idea is like, you don't need it. The first time home buyer programs are for people who really need it. And they're very careful about their funds.
Yes.
There is a max to the income you can earn. you're not really supposed to have a down payment. That's the other thing with Dream. Dream cut off how much of a down payment you could have of your own. You're only allowed to put 5% of your own funds.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a client who only qualifies up to a certain amount. She has 200,000 of her own funds.
Yeah.
She only qualifies up to a max of 800,000. She's desperate to go to 1 million.
Sure.
Like, you don't qualify.
Yeah.
So she got in touch and she's, oh, the Dream program, it's 20% down. And I said, it's not, it's 150.
Right.
So if you want to go to 1 million, they'll only give you 50.
Uh-huh.
And she's, and then I'll put my 200.
Yeah. And you
And I
can't.
was like, you can't, you can only put 50 if it's a,
Sure.
you're only allowed to put 5% down. And that would get her to a loan of 800. She doesn't afford 800. She qualifies for an 800 purchase with 200 down, which is 600.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So she was thinking, oh, I'll just get 200 from the
Of
state.
course.
I'll
Yeah.
put 200. And
And
that's
then
what
I'll
they're
put money
trying to
down.
avoid.
Yeah. Of course.
What's that?
Yeah. And then they'll put money down and she'll get to the 1 million and she has more options.
And then she has 400 down. That they are trying to resist that, which makes a lot of sense to me. They are trying to play to the people who need it, who have no money in the bank,
Yes.
who have no money to put down, no money towards
Right.
closing costs necessarily. And this is their chance to finally buy something, because
Exactly.
they will never have 200,000 in the bank
No.
unless they can purchase a property. That is their chance to actually build wealth and have
Absolutely.
money sitting in the bank.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I was just talking to a family yesterday and they purchased a home like 2 years ago. And I said, hey, they're like, hey, what's my home worth? And we looked it up today. And I was like, let me ask you this. You bought a house 2 years ago. Your house is now worth $300,000 more. Where
Yeah.
would you put your money? Where can you invest your money and make $300,000 in 2 years? Nowhere. Nowhere.
Exactly.
You're not putting it in the stock market and making that. So real estate really is, people have to think, okay, I'm just taking my investment money that I have and just investing it in another vehicle. And real estate is the best vehicle for generational wealth.
Totally. And it's funny because I was talking to a client who's doing a 1031 exchange.
Yeah.
And anyone in the audience who doesn't know what that is, it is what we call investment to investment. So they own an investment property, they're going to sell it. If you sell and use all the net proceeds towards a new purchase of an investment to investment, then you don't have to pay capital gains on any of your net earnings. It's an amazing program.
It's amazing. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you get to continue upping yourself. You get to continue buying bigger. I have literally a client who started with a duplex, moved to a fourplex, moved to a 10 unit.
Love that.
And then cashed out of that and bought a triple net property.
I love
like
that.
A KFC.
Yeah.
Which is the best. It's the only true passive income.
Yeah.
She was sick of being a landlord, but she was able to do that because of the buildup, because she never had to really pay taxes on her earnings. And it really gives you 50% back or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, where was I going with that?
She was able to do that because
of the
yes,
1031
to the
exchange.
first property. Because
Exactly.
she took her step to be like, walk me through this. How are we going to do it? And it's scary.
Right? It's scary. But so I was talking to her and I was like, I was thinking I'll only put 300 of my earnings and then I'll pay capital gains on the rest. And then I want to buy something small. And I was like what? And she goes, I was thinking like a 600,000 condo. I'd put 300 down towards it. And then it would make very little, but it would make enough. And I was like, let's think about that for a second.
Yeah.
An asset that earns money through appreciation, like homes do. If you have a small amount, it earns a small amount because it's a percentage. If you have a large amount, it earns a large amount.
Right.
And anyone knows in California, you don't really buy investment property for cash flow. You buy investment property for appreciation, for how much it's set to earn.
Yes.
And I said, so on a 600,000 condo, if you're making 5% a year, it's 30,000.
Yeah.
Amazing still, but that's 30,000. And condos are tough.
In California, I don't know how amazing that is, but
exactly. And I said, but if you put that 300 towards $1 million property, now 5% is 50,000.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's not about the cash flow. On a $1
Yeah,
million property, you'll probably earn more a month as well than you would putting
of
all
course.
of your money towards a small condo.
Yeah,
I had to just have her think about it logistically. I was like, it doesn't actually make sense to throw all of your cash proceed into a small condo that will not appreciate.
exactly. Absolutely.
It's about the asset. People forget that a home is an asset.
Yes, I love that. It's very
So
true.
the bigger the asset, the more the
The more
earnings.
return. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. People
yeah,
don't realize that.
yeah.
When it comes to a home, that's different. But when it comes to an investment property, for me, it feels like that's the way you need to look at it.
Absolutely, yeah. Which is
Mhm.
great. That just shows that you have a heart to serve people and you want to educate them. And in
Yeah, of
educating them,
course.
it's changing their ways that they're thinking, which in turn changes their life.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love my clients become my friends. Like I love them. It really becomes like a don't do
family.
that. Let's talk about
Exactly.
this
Stop. Yeah.
for sure. And I have watched clients build such incredible real estate wealth.
Right.
So I'm in it 20 years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
Love that.
like I've watched them literally. I have a client that has 7 properties and they're
Yeah.
fourplexes, duplexes, three, like starting from nothing, 12,000 down on a
Yeah.
3.5% FHA duplex.
Wow. 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 That's incredible. Started with a dream, right? A vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a duplex. And she put 3.5% down.
And
And
she live in one?
she did.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
did. And then she accumulated enough to buy another. And then we refied out of FHA
Yeah.
into conventional because you can only
Yeah.
have one FHA at a time.
Yep.
Refied out of that FHA into conventional, pulled a little cash out so she could buy new,
Love that. Yeah.
and then did it again,
Yeah.
and then did it again.
Wow.
And then she had sold one and bought a bigger, and then she was able to blah, blah, blah. And finally, after we've been doing this together for 14 years, it's
Yeah.
time too, guys. It's not like everything happens very quickly.
Exactly. Yes.
14 years later, she was like, I found a gorgeous SFR.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Barry,
Oh.
are we gonna buy you a house?
Oh,
You know, I was like,
wow.
I know. And it was so expensive for her. She didn't have that kind of budget at the time, but she bought like a $1.2 million house. And like,
Wow.
I know. It
For
was so
her to live
exciting
in or as an
for her to
investment?
live in.
For her to
Yep.
live in.
And she's
Wow.
in it.
That's incredible. Wow.
I
So
know.
started from a really small condo to probably her dream home.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
And to be
Well,
along the journey with her is the best.
that's the coolest. She called me the other day just to say hi. She's like, I know rates aren't where I need them to be to refi yet. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
But
Not yet.
she really just called to say hi. Yeah, it's a beautiful journey, the one that we were able to
wow.
to do
That's
together.
fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Few
then, like I
stories
said,
like
it started with a dream and a vision, and then taking the first step.
that. Totally.
And that's where people make the biggest mistake, I think, because they just don't take the simple first step. And it could change
Yeah.
your life.
I know. It's
Yeah.
true.
There's
Anyone
stuff.
who's W-2 income, the tax write-off that they're throwing away every year from
Absolutely.
renting is, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like taxes are taken out of your pay stub every month and you could get those back. It's a way to get those back
You could get them back and go on the vacation you wanted to go on.
or save another property.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or save for your first investment property.
Exactly.
Mhm. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I tell first-time buyers, like, this is not going to be your dream home. Because a lot of times they'll be like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. I'm like, guys, this probably is not going to be your dream home, the house you're going to be in forever. This is just you getting into real estate.
Yeah.
So that you can buy your dream home. And I think that helps reposition the way they see it. Okay, yeah, I can live with this. You're right. I'm only going to be here 3-5 years. And
It's
that
true.
helps to change their perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It really does.
Yeah.
Most first-time home buyers stay in that house. They say a whopping percentage of 90% only stay 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I also think one of the mistakes that people make is not getting pre-approved. They start looking at houses and going and viewing them. And then all of a sudden they fall in love with a house. Then they get pre-approved and realize, oh my goodness, I'm so far away. I can't afford that house. And then we start looking at other houses that they can't afford. And they're like, I know, but what about that $1 million house that I saw? So
Mhm.
I definitely encourage them. Sure, look on Zillow, do it, but before you get out there and start touring homes, figure out what you're pre-approved for so that you can stick within the budget that they each have.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. For sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, like I said, they'll compare the home to their dream home.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And dream homes come, but sometimes they take a little time. They take
Yeah,
a little energy.
usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was such a pleasure.
Yes. Yeah. It was fun.
Appreciate always your insight. Yeah. And everybody, you can find Shelby on all of the websites and socials and everything. We'll have it down below. And I'll see you at the next episode. Thank you. Thanks, Shelby.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Mortgage on My Mind. If you're ready to start your mortgage journey or have any questions, I'd love to help. With 20 years of experience, I make the process as simple and stress-free as possible. Check the show notes for my contact info, and don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast. Until next time, I'm Natalie Salins, here to help make your real estate dreams a reality.